We are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
First podcast.
let's go. This is your first?
No, this is
No,
actually
no.
my third one, but second one actually recorded with the intention of sharing the content.
Oh, all right. Let's go. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
Let's
This is
go.
my first one that I personally organized though. That
Okay.
I like scheduled.
All right. Let's like that.
Hello Sophia.
Hello. Thank you
How
for
are
having
you?
me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Um,
I say coming on like this is a legitimate established show. But you know what?
it's it's
I like to put that out there because I want this to be an established show at some point. Um,
it's a
so
pleasure to call.
that's what she said. Um, but yeah, so it's Sunday. Last time I did this was on Sunday, and so I'm thinking, Sundays are usually my rest and do absolutely nothing days. At least that's what I tell myself. So I'm thinking, Sundays would be a great day to
Mm.
do like a podcast. So my
When are you?
ideal vision, without really diving into it too, I haven't dived into it too much, is to have this be like a recurring thing.
But when are you gonna rest?
That's a great question. That
Even
is a
God
great question.
rested.
Yeah, maybe after this I will.
Yeah. So what is your goal with this podcast? Like, what is your vision? I guess long term. Start with end in mind.
That's a great question. I haven't really thought about that much. Um, I will say the one thing that I enjoy doing, arguably the most, maybe not arguably, but a lot, is talking. So, and I don't like scripts. I don't like, agendas. For me personally, I understand the importance of them when people are trying to get certain thoughts out there, and express certain ideas. But I prefer just having normal conversation and talking about whatever we like talking about. That just seems to be the most fun.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. We already had a head start earlier, so
yeah.
we're not gonna go in that direction. Well, whatever direction I guess we go on.
Yes.
So this
Yes.
this is
Fine.
really weird. I don't know why this is really because I talk to you, but this is like this is being recorded. So this is weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. But remember, just like lean into how we normally talk.
All
You know,
right, all right.
when we're just using, video. I mean, we have FaceTime plenty of times.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yo, I still go back to the videos you send me, like
Uh-huh.
From Fiji, or when you went, like the trip, and you'd be like, huh?
Yeah, the Jim Carrey laugh.
Yeah, yeah,
Jim
yeah.
Carrey laugh. There's a
That's
really
how
funny.
does he do it?
He goes, well, he's describing his dad who was deaf in one ear, and so his in order for well, when his dad would laugh, he'd go, huh? All awkwardly, like, what?
It's the best. It's like the little tick somebody has. Um,
Yes. And the way
yeah.
Jim Carrey does it obviously is like super animated and funny.
Yo, what are your thoughts on recent Jim Carrey? Like, did you hear about that?
The fake face thing,
Hmm.
dude, that was so trippy. That was so trippy. So at first I was like, I had to like do a double take thing. It looked like he had plastic surgery at first. But granted, I mean, it was a fake person that was already like fact checked,
Hmm.
and I'm pretty sure Jim said it was anyway. But yeah, at first I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck's going on? This is so weird." And then I looked at his eyes, and his eyes were tripping me out because the guy's eyes that was doing that were blue.
Like that's not like, and he didn't make anybody laugh. That was he made some kind of weird. I feel like it's almost like a Freudian slip. He's like, "Oh, I'm actually dead" or something, or did you? It was like on the red carpet or something,
Oh, really? He
or
did
some
say
kind of
that?
like. I was like, yeah, not real. Yeah, it's for sure.
That
Something he
is
said
so
something.
weird. Wait, so the guy who was wearing the mask said that on the red carpet, like during
Yeah,
some interview or
some
something?
kind of like I'm not really here or something, or I'm dead, or like he made like a dead joke or something like.
Oh
And
man.
then, but then there was like a person that talked about he's like a famous mask creator, like he does effects. He said that he was the one wearing it. He like does these like social experiments. Um, but like he posted an AI picture, like you could tell like the mask was not on anything. So it's like so there's more conspiracy.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
Jim Carrey has said on many occasions, even in interviews on red carpets, is that he hates those things.
He's always like, all I can picture is like that video that not video, the interview that he did with some host. He's like, I just can picture him. He did that like one
Just
time or
fucking with
something.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
does that. Jim Carrey's story. You and I have already had this conversation. Jim Carrey is, for me, the number one most influential comedian in my personal life. I love him more than any other comedian. I always like I could rewatch his shit over and over again.
for me,
And
it's
his life story is so fascinating. Like his journey, his rise to fame, and then his internal downfall, and then his re-rise internally, like developing and deepening his relationship with himself and what that means. It's really fascinating. Like,
that probably would be so trippy to have a conversation with him like in person, and be
oh
like, wait,
yeah,
was it real? Did this actually happen? Like you'd be like, huh?
have
You
you
know?
seen that documentary? It's called like Andy and Jim or something like that. You should watch that. It's really interesting. It's a documentary about Jim specifically during the filming of that movie Man on the Moon about Andy. Um, I think it was, I can't remember his last name, but he was an actor back in the day, a comedian back in the day, and Jim was playing him. It was a true story movie, but then the documentary is about the making of that movie.
Oh,
And Jim did,
Inception.
huh? Yeah, exactly.
Inception.
The movie is an Inception, and during the filming of that movie, um, Jim was, what do you call that? Like method acting. So he stayed in character the entire time, offset, onset, and it fucked with him. He said,
Did you know that like CIA, like when they go undercover, they have to extract the person from the mission sometimes because they go so into character, like they believe at some point, or like
mm,
there's a threshold, I guess, when you repeat the patterns of that person. Let's say you pretend to be in the mob, but you're undercover for CIA. Like there's a time that they have to extract you because it like messes with your head, like and you're like who you are as a person.
crazy, right?
Mm.
Crazy, like the power of the brain.
The power of
And
pretending to be someone for a while.
yeah, but then that brings up a question in me. It's like, then if we can change our identity, then who are we really?
No, no. I don't think I sent this to you, but I will. There was a study done on this this girl who had like multiple personalities. So she was like blind for like most of her life. She wouldn't like just wasn't able to see. And then like during like her therapy sessions, like 4 years or whatever, or 5 years into it or something, one of her personalities, like she kind of unlocked it or something, and she was able to see.
Oh,
She's
that's
like,
crazy.
so and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Like we really create the filter of our reality.
We do. We do. It's insane. There's another multiple personality disorder story about a guy with multiple, one of his personalities was diabetic. And so when he switched to that one, his pancreas stopped working
Yeah.
and he had to take
Exactly.
insulin shots. Crazy. I've heard of stories of people's eye color changing when they go from one personality to the other. Like
If you
brown
meet
eyed
a
people, we have blue eyes, blue pigment underneath the brown
so after all, I am a
melanin.
blue-eyed girl. Just they don't know it. Because
we're all
I
we're
feel like
all
it's
blue eyed.
I feel like at some point every person who has brown eyes is like, oh, I just have brown eyes.
Yeah, I
I
know.
wish, but at the same time, it's good for the sight, I guess, because you're not as sensitive to the sun,
Mm,
you know.
I didn't know that. There was a time in my life where I thought about changing my eye color, like just changing one, like to have two different colored eyes.
Let me just like, got it.
Well, there's this new technology out there that's still kind of in test mode, test stage, where it's a laser that lasers off. If you have brown eyes, it'll laser off the brown melanin and then reveal whatever colored eye you have underneath.
You know
But
what? I would rather see than have blue eyes.
yeah, that's the work that I did with that pattern specifically. I'm like, you know what? I like my eyes. I like my eyes. I don't want to change them.
Shouldn't.
No.
Um, but
But yeah, going back to that whole neural thing, it's so fascinating. So I just finished reading this book called Neurohabits by Peter Hollins,
okay.
and he talks about neuroplasticity and how there are three elements to changing neural networks, with habits specifically, like three types of habits. Because habits, doing something over and over again, is what like structures new
It's
neurons.
yeah. It
Even
structures your
thinking,
identity.
even thinking, like thought patterns themselves are neural networks. So he was like, there's three types of habits. One is like motor habits, so brushing your teeth or walking, very basic stuff, driving. Motor habits, we don't really think about it, right? They're so ingrained, we don't even have to be present for that habit specifically.
You know what I just pictured? You know, like when you sometimes you'll go like down a spiral of thoughts, and you're like, my life is happening this, my life is falling apart, and it just like it goes down like a thing.
Yeah, I've done that.
But especially like if you're like in the shower or something. But then like I'm picturing these thoughts. It's almost like you're juggling thoughts. So just more thoughts keep like adding on. You're like, da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
Yes. Is that how
And
you're
I'm like,
feeling right
shit.
now?
No, 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 no. But like
Oh,
you can. But I feel like you know the whole thing that Tony Robbins does with the it's like, oh, you believe this thing, like just mock it, you know, like nah, 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 you know the whole
yes.
thing. It's like same
Uh-huh.
thing with the I think with those thoughts like, wait a minute, trying to catch them. Do I want to catch them? Hold on. I can just drop them.
Yes, yes, we can. Yeah. Play
Yeah.
energy, that's a super important energy. When you can play
Mm,
um, with life, it makes life a lot more fun.
that's
I
true.
did this thing recently, actually. So I've been working on, I just got this book that I'm reading. This is the workbook, but
You're reading so many books.
I
It
know
is.
it's
I am.
crazy. Crazy.
I'm still on my like fifth chapter of what is it? Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, great
I think
book.
no. Wait, I lied. Rich Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's the one. I mean, that's also a great book. Both
That's
are
a,
great
yeah, that's a
books.
great book as well. But yeah, this one, so this is a workbook. I haven't
Huh.
started the workbook, but I've been reading the book associated to that workbook.
Okay.
And it's about healing your lost inner child. Basically, like um, in childhood, we'll experience something traumatic, emotionally, physically, whatever it might be,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that trauma basically imprints or
But it's
basically,
but I feel like half of sorry, keep hooked thought. I feel like a part of it is from the meaning obviously we give as a child, right? You know, this is what I take away, so it becomes a trauma. Obviously, some traumas are actual, like you know, like yeah, that was fucked up. This the trauma is valid there, but sometimes it's like the meaning we take away from a certain interaction, you know, and that becomes the trauma. Okay, carry on.
yeah, I mean, you could say that about anything. That's so true. As a kid, though, you're not as conscious as you are as an adult to recognize the meaning that you're giving to these things. And
Mm.
so a lot of times we are just like functioning, we're just operating like, you know, like kids, just free play, um, not really worried about meaning. There is feeling, inherent
Mm-hmm.
feeling that happens with, like, let's say I smack my arm. That's a
Mm-hmm.
very unique feeling, right? As I age, I could change the meaning to that, and that might affect the way I respond to that, but the feeling is always going to be the same, right? Like I could cut myself. People do this.
Mm-hmm.
People cut themselves, right?
Yeah.
It's painful. The feeling is the same, but the meaning that they give to it kind of shifts that, like, awareness of that feeling specifically. Does that make sense?
It does. It's like when you were beaten as a child, and then as an adult, you're like,
You find yourself in an abusive relationship.
that. Okay, yeah, that's the direction you can go. Okay.
But yeah, so you have this experience as a kid, and without proper processing and healing, basically, like, your child self fractals off and stays
Yeah.
there, basically waiting to be healed, right? This
Mm.
isn't this isn't not okay pattern, whatever happened, and I'm not going to move on until we fix this or reshape the pattern.
Yeah.
And so the book talks about that. And so we still age, right? We're aging and aging, but there's still this emotional body that is desiring care, comfort, and healing, which is just shifting from an unwanted pattern to a wanted pattern, which is a beautiful thing if you think about it, because it's like the
I
kid is
mean,
basically,
I mean, we're all going towards. We want to go towards the wanted pattern, right? The
yes,
good one.
yes, but we want to make sure that we process the original unwanted pattern before we fully move on. And
Mm.
so I was noticing in me one of the biggest things holding me back from like,
In the past.
I mean, currently, still,
Yeah.
still, I'm always growing. I'm always learning and
Hmm.
getting better, getting more efficient. But um, was my child self was a rebel. He was like, "Nope, we're not going to do that. Nope, nope, nope." Because I would say to myself unconsciously that we need to do this thing so that I can give you love. I would basically be talking to my little Brandon self, and I would say, Brandon, we're not going to watch TV. We're not going to snack. You're going to come with me, and we are going to go and work on the business. Or we are going to go to the gym, or blah, blah, blah,
Mm.
whatever it is, like whatever action I've associated to giving myself love. So I made my own self love dependent on some sort of behavior or action. And my child self is a fucking rebel, and I love him so much. He's like, no, fuck you. We're not doing that. I'm gonna make it so painful. I'm gonna throw a tantrum. I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna bite and claw, and we're going to watch TV. And so eventually, I'd give in and do it because the pain that was created from me limiting my self love was so great that I had to resort to the coping mechanism, which was watching TV, because that's what little Brandon did.
Yeah.
Play video games, go outside, whatever, skateboard, whatever it
Did the
was.
usual kid thing.
The usual kid thing.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon was leveraging those things in order to like cope with the external circumstances, which was the adult figures in my life are not giving me love unless I
Ooh,
do what they want.
I really like that description here that you just said because as I'm processing my my own things, and I think most people are, and as we're trying to figure out, okay, this person did this and this person did this versus like adult figures in my life when I was growing up. It already like it almost like uh, it doesn't blame right person per person. It's like, hey, just adults in my life as I'm growing up. You know what I mean? It's like
Uh-huh.
I just like that um the word choice. I just like that
Yeah,
word choice. That's really good.
soften the blow
Yeah.
a little bit and make it a little bit easier to approach.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you
Instead
think that
of
is?
well, because well, for one, you sound more educated versus like my mom did not let me play games as a kid. It sucked.
Okay.
you
All
know?
right. So there's um a personal perception of being able to say that.
Like you're able to zoom out further than just like a particular experience, right? You're able to
Right, right,
zoom
right,
out
right.
on the bigger lesson.
I see. That
Mm.
makes sense. So like if I have X amount of energy, let's say this is resentment or frustration or anger. I have X amount of energy, but I'm focusing it in this one direction. It gets real hot and intense. So if I expand it out and I spread the love, basically, or spread the anger, spread the frustration. That doesn't sound right. I
There's an
hate
adult in my
everything.
family that I'm like, you are spreading your frustration and your anger.
Oh man. No,
Oh.
I think I get what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a similar concept in electrical engineering. When you have so much energy going down like one circuit, that circuit itself gets real hot. So if you can spread that energy,
I'm sorry, my brain is disgusting.
are you thinking about the conversation that we had earlier?
No, just from the circuit and going down. That's it.
Your brain is wired. for that's what she said jokes or
Yeah, yeah,
sexual jokes.
yeah, exactly. They roam free in my mind.
That's fun.
And they are free range.
Free range chickens.
Free range thoughts, free range dirty thoughts,
Yeah.
just roaming around.
Yeah, no, I get that. That sounds like a fun mind though.
I would be like a horrible guest at a funeral, for sure. I would be like, bro, like I would have to be in the last pew. I would be less fun at a wedding than a no. I would be in also. Well, no, it depends. Like how well do I know the couple,
Mm-hmm.
But but it would be fun for me at the funeral. That sounds so bad. See, but it's like
What I love about comedy is that it makes tougher situations just a little bit easier.
because what is
That's
the
actually
other
like the
option
source
though?
of comedy. That's like the whole purpose of comedy and sense of humor is to make something that we don't understand or we fear or we're uncomfortable about a little bit more pleasant to be around. It's like I imagine.
Some would argue the opposite. The like from my jokes is like uh
Well, then those people that don't have a healthy relationship with comedy, I would say.
I'm also in church, so
I would say God is has the best sense of humor. Life is a divine comedy.
yeah, life is a divine comedy. There was
Yes.
but the no, I lost my train of thought. No, yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
Sorry.
Um. So what was I saying before? Three types of habits that I find really interesting. Motor habits, and then there are like thought habits, like just thinking patterns,
Yeah,
and then there's, or rather, like intellectual habits where you like process, like how you think specifically. And then there's identity habits.
wait, that's more than three. Wait, no.
Sorry, I said multiple words for the middle one. So motor, intellectual, and um, identity habits. And identity habits are the most powerful because they feed identity. So, like,
Yeah.
what do we identify with? If we identify as a person who's who's diabetic, then my pancreas doesn't work.
Wait, okay, so there's motor habits. What are the other two again?
Intellectual
Intellectual and
and
identity, right?
identity. So
But intellect plays into an identity.
they all play into each other. For
Fair, yeah.
example, if I identify as an athletic person,
You're
then
gonna
I'm
go to the
probably
gym.
going to do motor habits in the realm of, something athletic. If I identify as a biker, I might ride a bike.
Yeah. Okay. A
See?
cyclist. A cyclist.
A cyclist, I might cycle. That's why identity habits are the most powerful because they feed the others. They feed how we think. They feed what we do. And then what we
Oh,
do
it's
feeds how we think, which feeds how we identify.
an infinite loop.
It is this infinite loop. And those split personality people, they have essentially like cracked that by being able to make themselves see if they're blind or, you know, blue colored eyes. Fucking insane.
Because
Just makes me wonder.
they're just making different neural pathways in the same
That's
brain.
that's it. That's it. That's all that we are or aren't, I guess. Like we aren't our likes, we aren't our values, we aren't the sound of our
We
voice.
aren't our values.
No, we're
Have
not.
you been to a Tony? Well, I mean,
Tony has said on many occasions that he's just a guy. He created this Tony character.
that's true.
He when he had that epiphany about the whole value system, he said it came to him. He didn't automatically know that, and then he restructured his values based off of what he wanted in life. And he said we do this all the time.
We do.
That's why he says date with destiny is only something you need if once, at least once a year, or at most once a year, he said.
That's a nice price. Every once a year to go date with Destiny.
I know, right?
It's insane.
Fucking insane.
It's okay. We're gonna volunteer again. Did you sign up for Cologne?
In September?
Yeah. Are you going?
No, because guess what? I'm going to Burning Man. Let's
That's
go.
freaking awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's super cool. My friend was telling me about it, and I was kind of interested, and the more I thought about it, the more I was feeling into it, the more I was like, ooh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't done anything like that in a long time. I'm really into consciousness based events, consciousness festivals. This is why I used to go to festivals. I've been to, I don't even know how many.
Not all festivals, from observing just some videos even of festivals, I'm like that. Like you can feel the energy coming from the video. Sometimes you're like, some of it's pretty dark.
No, I know. Yeah, when I used to go to festivals. Those are the type of festivals that I used to go to. EDC, Nocturnal Wonderland, um, Tao. There's a bunch of other ones I used to go to when I was in my late teens, early 20s. Um, and I had a blast. But I was not behaving in a very conscious way. But I had so much fun.
That's what my ex would say. I was not behaving in a conscious way.
Yes, I was definitely escaping at that time for me, but I still had a great time, and I don't regret any of it. However, I just preferred a higher quality type of experience in that realm, which eventually led me to Tony Robbins because
Yeah.
it's a super conscious festival celebrating the growth and contribution that we all experience at those events.
Yeah.
Connection, all of it. It's the
I know.
best.
It is the
So,
best.
but at one point when I was 26, in 2017, my girlfriend at the time told me about this festival called Lightning in a Bottle. And she said it was a consciousness festival. And at the time, I hadn't really like thought about any of that stuff, but I was curious. And so I went and it transformed my life. And I became like super attached to those types of experiences, a very conscious celebration of growth. So you,
Covered a lot of your needs.
it did. It covered all of my needs. Like you would go there. They have seminars there, meditation, breath work, cooking classes, deep conversations,
Cooking classes.
cooking classes. Yep.
How can you
Um,
adult to the next level?
what was that?
How can you adult to the next level?
Here's how you cook organically.
Meditate and cook
Um,
organically.
they have like free therapy, um, very, very deep, like intentional consciousness expanding experiences. And of course, there's music playing, high ticket music artists are there. And for me, the experience kind of played out like, you wake up in the morning, you do some meditation, you do some breath work, you kind of get some coffee, start the day, go to some seminar here, a practice here, you learn and you grow, you expand your consciousness, and then at night you dance your fucking ass off and you celebrate. And that pattern became a pattern for me, with those like big event kind of experiences,
I just want
which
to say,
is
it like, because it's so weird, because you also worked in the military, and to have that dichotomy is like, I would never picture somebody who works in the military to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna be working on my, higher self while I also work in the military. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. I
like,
love the military. It's great.
what
I
was the
will
best
say
part?
I
What is the
am
best part about it? Like, what do you enjoy about it?
that's a hard question to answer because I like so much, but I would say just the feeling of impact, the feeling that I am doing something that contributes to saving a lot of lives and protecting lives. For example, I've contributed directly in many operations that have saved thousands of people, but I can't talk about it. I can say that, but I
Yeah,
can't say what I did.
yeah.
But I know in my heart that I contributed directly, um, in multiple operations that saved lives. So that feels good. Um, Now, of course, there are aspects of everything that people cannot agree with. So
Yeah.
yeah, sure, there's some aspects of that, but I think the heart of the military is good. Um, I think it's essential and critical. Um, and I respect everybody that joins the military. But I do, as far as me is concerned, I am definitely not normal in the military. I'm an abnormal military member. But I make conscious efforts to like be a positive influence on the people in the military. You know, I am a decently ranking individual in the military. So I do
I'm
have
sure
I
you're under you, the people under you like are and over you that are over you the same level as you as well. I'm sure they're grateful that you're there. And,
oh
they take
yes,
a lot
and
from
vice
that.
versa. I'm grateful for them as well. Um but yeah, I'm always looking to improve the quality of people's experience of their own lives. Whether that means I'm simply coming to them with a positive heart, an open heart, and a positive attitude, then, and if that's it, great. Then I feel like I have contributed in some way.
You do. From just meeting you in October? I think I met you in October, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, October, November, like yeah.
yeah, October at UPW.
Yeah, it for me at least, our conversations are some of the most unique ones I think I've ever experienced. Especially like even our conversation earlier today, like mm, your way of thinking is definitely more unique than most people, I would say, or your responses are definitely not something that you would, I guess I have expected or have experienced in the past for most people. Like if somebody's going through a tough time, you know, some people, will go down that rabbit hole with you versus like whole, uh, versus your observation of thoughts themselves. Like, hold on, let's just extrapolate that further than just like, let's even separate from the identity or whatever, trauma,
Hmm.
whatever. Like, you have very unique insight into things, and
Well, thank you.
it disrupts the pattern. It disrupts the pattern.
Distrust my own pattern. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I do consciously try to make an effort to um, be as helpful and as positive as I can to people's lives. And one of the thing, and I'm only doing what I've already done at least a little bit to myself with other people. Um, and for me specifically, I experienced thoughts and patterns growing up that were very challenging. Um, the most challenging aspect of all of those experiences has always and will always be my mind. Have I ever told you the ECAC story?
I love that. One of the most challenging experiences will be my mind.
Yes.
It's like you gotta sit on that for a little bit. It's pretty good. It's really good. Yeah.
Um,
You were saying
yes. Have I ever told you the ECAC story when I
no?
went
What
to
is
that military training?
ECAC? No.
Yeah.
It
All
sounds
right. Well, I
funny.
can't say too much. We are on the record here.
Yeah.
But basically, I went to a training that is meant to challenge you
Hmm.
in situations
Isn't
where.
most of the military is meant to challenge you? It's like,
Good point.
so I went to this training. It's like that's in the military. It's meant to challenge you. The rest of the military, just homosexual jokes all the time. Just like no homo, no homo.
The funny thing
I
is
love you.
that's so true. No homo jokes all the time.
I love you, bro.
Uh,
I'd die for you, but like no homo. I step on a bomb for you, but you cannot peg me. That's not gonna.
oh man, so true.
Sorry.
But yeah, so basically, long story short, I went to this training. It was the most challenging training that I had
Okay.
ever experienced
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Very intentional. It is meant to challenge you when you're faced with what do you call it, like prisoner of war. You know, not kidnapping, but like when they seize you. There's another term for it, prisoner of war.
Did they
And
practice like? Do they practice water? That might be like a sensitive question. As do they practice
no,
waterboarding in those?
no,
It's like,
no, no. It's more like you learn about it first, like in a
mhm.
class setting, and then you do
And
you
then you just
do.
try to be trained as a Navy SEAL. Let's do that.
I would say that there are other trainings that are way more intense. Um, like Navy SEAL training, obviously, is way like the most intense. But in any case, uh, I
Yeah.
remember at one point before I was engaging with the role playing and the practice, I was sitting there, standing there, and I was running through my brain like the scenario and how it could play out, and
Hmm.
like kind of practicing what in my head what they were teaching us.
Hmm.
And as I was doing that, I was in my mind. Nothing was happening around me externally. I was just standing there, and but I was playing scenarios in my head. I was so nervous. I was so anxious. My leg was freaking shaking. My leg was freaking shaking, and nothing was happening around me. So obviously, the experience that I was having was mostly being created internally,
Yeah.
right? Now I knew something was about to happen. I just didn't know what. And then I get taken into the scenario room, and the moment I get taken in there, I had a burlap sack over my face. When the burlap sack got pulled off of my face, something fucking clicked in me, and all of the nerves, all of the anxiety went away. Everything went away, and I handled it like a fucking champion. And I handled it so well that they actually started using me as like the go-to like practice dummy.
Of course they
so,
would.
so
Yeah.
that I could help teach all the other people that were watching.
See, all that trauma did you good.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is I have somehow um like transmuted all of the trauma that I've created for myself, all of the trauma that I've experienced externally, um both internal and external traumas I have transmuted into something that has set me up for success in very, very stressful scenarios. Um and so in I recognize those experiences as profound and essential for growth. Requirement? No. But if they are happening, then they are happening with a potential to offer some sort of growth for me or for another person. So when I hear other people struggling, in the back of my head, I already see that as a positive thing. I don't necessarily say that like, hey, that's great that you're suffering right now. I don't say that. I recognize it as it exists. Hey, you're suffering. That fucking sucks. However, it's also true that beyond through all of this is a beautiful message
Yeah.
and an opportunity for some profound growth. I have no idea what that looks like, means to anybody outside myself. I just know that that exists. And so I'm
See,
always approaching situations like that from that frame.
something that was on my mind when it comes to growth and like, I guess spiritual connection, right? Especially with God, is like it made me think how people will use drugs, right, to almost simulate that experience. And you could say you could argue it's almost like you're cheating, right? Because you're connecting with God through not like you're not really doing the work, right? Necessarily to it's like you're getting the reward without the work necessarily every single time, right? And I started to think about how on one spectrum you have religious individuals who are in that constant state, I need to always work and whatever, and they have trauma with it, right? And but they don't necessarily seek a relationship with God. And then the other side, you have people who are spiritual. Everybody's spiritual, but I'm talking about the where they do these experiences and they feel so connected, right, to the universe and all this stuff. But it's almost like they go on this roller coaster. Okay, I got off the ride, cool. And they there's some. cool takeaways from that, but then they like some may not choose to do the work. So it's like you just keep going back to that experience, and people can get stuck in that loop of just I'm just gonna keep taking drugs so I
Yes.
can feel connected to God
Yes.
without doing the work in my conscious daily life. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pattern. It sucks.
I hope that makes sense a little bit.
No, I that makes perfect sense. I know that pattern very well. Um, and it's the pattern of, I think it's, well, there's a couple things in there. One thing I realized, actually not too long ago, around Christmas time. Um,
But I'm not discounting like drugs, but
no,
like
me
what I mean.
neither. I
But
don't think
it's
drugs are bad or good. They're just a substance that will collect dust if nothing is ever done with it.
yeah.
I think what matters is people's relationship with the substance itself. For example, psilocybin is used to help treat PTSD, panic, anxiety, depression. One session, as we all know, can literally cure a person, and there's plenty of documented cases of that. You could also take psilocybin to escape reality,
Yeah.
and that doesn't feed your soul like using it with intention. MDMA, same example. LSD, cocaine used to be, but I don't know. I'm sure there are still some sort of medical practice.
Just take sugar. It will do the same effect on your brain.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
But yeah, no, I think what matters is the relationship with the substance itself. But I think like
I
behind,
think people will some people what I've come to see is that being religious and on the opposite side taking all these substances doesn't guarantee enlightenment, even though you may live in this thought like I'm so enlightened because I've experienced all these things. It doesn't actually um, translate to quote unquote bearing fruit of enlightenment. You know, so
huh?
you may maybe appear on the surface like mm, person I guess who's reflective, let's say, but you're still ultimately chasing that high, right?
Exactly. Yeah, chasing something, yeah, outside yourself. The psychedelics specifically, those aren't like, those themselves don't hold the code. It's it's the code already exists. They
Yeah.
just open up our perception to recognize it. So like the fruit of enlightenment thing that you're talking about, yeah, I think there's a huge potential for people to get the fruit of enlightenment through the use of psychedelics. But the psychedelic itself is not the thing that brings us that fruit. You could also get the fruit from enlightenment by sitting with yourself for a long period of time, breath work, going on a good
You could get
jog.
high from just like oxygen.
Yes, literally. There's so many things. Dancing. Kundalini is, I think it's a Hindu based philosophy. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with Kundalini? Have you heard of
I'm
it?
not actually. I want to ask you about it.
I don't know much, but I have done a little bit of reading on it, and basically it's a philosophy around creative energy. Yeah, humming, mantras, but it's around the energy of life or creation, and they use this symbolic like helix type snake like energetic coil that goes up the spine, and as this energy goes up the spine through the nervous system, there are different like energy points, or chakra points. Joe Dispenza calls them energy points.
Mhm.
That resonates more with most people, but
I want to
chakra.
go to. I want to go to one of his events. I know
Me
people.
too. Me
Peop,
too. That'd be so fun.
can we go together?
Let's
Well, if we
go.
find a way, like that would be so awesome.
It would be. Yeah, that's one of my life goals for sure, to go to one of his events.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, long story
I have
short,
to read his book.
which one?
I just remember that there was the one that has the chart in it, like, and that has lust on the bottom. The
Huh?
one that's the one that I'm because if you like it's
Becoming
he
supernatural?
talks I think so because he talks about like that's one of the lowest frequencies on the whatever frequency of things.
Which one? Shame?
No, lust is on the bottom. It's on the bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Primal. We were talking about this primal monkey. Remember we had this conversation like
Yes.
a month ago. Primal monkey and stuff. It's
Yes.
like monkey
That
brain.
is, it
You know.
is. Yeah. It's like, it is, which is why, which kind of plays into what I was talking about earlier about like arguably the most profound thing a single human can do to contribute to the expansion of consciousness is make a baby, which makes sense because you could also argue that the number one most enjoyable thing to do is to have sex. So why would Mother Nature make that the number one most enjoyable thing that a human can experience?
But that's why it's so sacred. That's why it should be treated with
It's super sacred. I agree.
Yeah, respect.
100%. I totally agree with that, which is why I am saying, for me personally, like my personal philosophy around that is I want to contribute to consciousness expansion consciously. I don't want to be a monkey going, running around like a fucking dog.
Let me ring that bell again.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do it consciously. When I have a kid, I want to consciously contribute to that kid's expansion. I want to be around.
A little bit frustrated at the culture we grew up in a little bit, because it's like it kind of normalized. Like, yeah, on one hand, like you should have sex ed and talk about like the dangers of it, right, or whatever, all the STDs, and have a healthy relationship with your body, right? And it's a normal. I mean, that's why all the religious people marry so early and so soon. It's because like
they can't wait,
bro. Like it's coming with you or not. Yes. You go. Somebody said like if you, so some priest said like if you can live with your partner before you marry them and you don't want to have sex with them, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
That's a problem.
Yes.
Like I could stand not fucking you today. It's good. It's fine.
That's a good litmus test of whether or not someone should get married. Is they live together and see if they want to fuck or not fuck all the time.
No. I don't think that is the litmus test. You can kind of tell if I feel like you can. Chemistry is very easy to come by. Come by. But actual work that goes further than that, it's like, okay, because quote unquote access, right, to the man's body and the woman's body has become so normalized in this culture but that's like, it's like that. I guess that is the goal, right? But then you bypass all these things that just make you feel. No, my brain's not connecting proper, adequate thoughts together.
Wait, rewind though, because you said something that I didn't quite catch. So, you said something right before a man's body and a woman's body, like axes.
Like everybody's thinking about like, okay, it's access has become normalized, right? It's
okay,
like, let's just go to the last thing you should have access to. Let's go to that first.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, when you think about, like, they did a study on saliva. You know how when you kiss somebody, like all the anxiety you get, or like the let's say if they're like stressed, you get that in your system.
Oh,
you literally absorb who they are. Think about it when you're
just from saliva. Imagine like sex juices
with sex juices. Yeah, imagine the other fluids. I mean, so looking back, I was like, bro, if I knew what I knew now, no. If I had the self-respect that I have now, I would have been no.
I would argue that you were just in a learning, exploratory state, just like all of us. Me too.
I will give myself grace. The adults that were around me growing up did not set the best example for a healthy relationship. So I was like, and additional a couple other things, as kids grow up, Unfortunately, there's a good portion of women and men that experience, sexual trauma early on in their life before they reach double digits even, right? So that messes with your head. Or messes with your head, or the devil doesn't play fair, all the different, I guess, terminologies, right, from different cultures and religions. It's just how you, whatever you choose. And so with that, like I was like, no. The reasoning that you develop based on what you experienced, based on the meaning you took away from the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna act that. Like for me, I was like, no relationship for a while. Luckily, I didn't. Luckily I had a father at home, right? Absent father, but a father nonetheless. So I didn't hoe around like like a normal hoe, you
Uh-huh.
know.
Oh, not like like those normal hoes out there.
Like not like they're normal hoe. I waited to have a boyfriend,
Uh-huh.
but still it like I'm gonna give myself grace, my younger self, because she was trying to minimize the other things that she went through and like essentially avoid pain. Avoid pain.
Mm-hmm. And seek
We're
pleasure.
all trying to avoid pain.
Yes. Yes. And all we want is to be loved. That's it. That's the number one desire that we all have, including our child self.
Mm.
And our child self will do whatever they believe is going to lead to that. And maybe at some point that behavior, whatever it was, did give us connection or love. But that pattern can shift. We just
By the way,
give
just so,
ourselves love.
you're like, I don't know, bro. It's like
we
a
are expanding consciousness by having this conversation. I mean,
yes, we are.
technically, all right. This is crazy. This philosophy. My observation says that the goal of the universe is to expand consciousness, and the most simple way to do that is by interaction with another thing. For example, this chapstick is conscious to the degree in which the material is formed, or to the degree of the complexity of its form. So it's not very complex, right?
What's your dog's name? I forgot.
Shadow.
Shadow. That's the
Oh,
Shadow,
wait.
but you have two dogs. No.
I do have two. We're
The black
training
one.
him. Yeah,
The
Akita, the chocolate
Akita's
lab.
the. Oh, she's chocolate. Okay. Why do you
Yeah,
call Shadow when Akita's darker? That's
because I got
racist.
her first, and when I watched the movie Homeward Bound, have you seen that? You haven't seen Homeward Bound? It's one of the best films. You watch it because you're gonna cry. It's so amazing.
I
It's
cry in a. I I cry with or without movies.
well, this one is really gonna make you cry then because
Okay.
it's so good. There's a
So good.
dog in
Okay.
there called Shadow,
Mm.
and when I was a kid, I
I've
would
seen
cry.
I've seen what was it, Balto? It was
Great movie.
I was
I love
like
that movie.
Balto, no.
Maybe I'll name my next dog Balto.
Balto is such a good
Anyway,
film.
but yeah, no, she's named after that dog in that movie, and then he is named after an anime
Mm.
called Death Note. The main character.
That's
Have you
such a
seen that?
great. That's yeah. Who
Okay.
hasn't? I feel like who who hasn't seen that one? There's like a few staple anime or staple films in any genre that like I'm pretty sure everyone would have seen that. And then you hear somebody like,
Yeah,
you haven't seen that?
that that is all of Death Note right there. That's the collection of the Death Note. Um,
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I
manga.
see it.
Isn't this cool?
That's the collection of the people you killed.
Of the manga. Yeah, this is my favorite anime. But I named him after light.
Hmm.
But Akita means sunlight in Japanese. So it's also kind of a yin and yang thing with shadow, sunlight. But really, I named him after the character.
Hmm.
Akita. Kita!
Oh.
Anyway, he probably heard that right now. He's gonna be coming. Anyway, but yeah, like I believe that the purpose of reality, of existence itself, God's divine orchestration is to have consciousness expand. And at the very minimum, easiest way to do that is by having two things connect with each other or interact with each other. You know? A little tight, but at the
You're not
very
helping yourself. Or-
at the very least, um, that is what's happening. Because by virtue of two things interacting with each other, that interaction itself makes both of their existence known, right?
yeah,
So energy interacting with
because you're
energy.
perceiving something. It's like the way neurons behave or something, or electrons behave or something. It's like how when they are observed versus not observed, that sort of thing.
That's a thing too. Yeah,
So it's like
material atoms, particles act differently when they are being observed and also when they interact with other particles. But that interaction itself basically helps to contribute to the consciousness expansion because consciousness is awareness of self. So, like, if I bump my hand into the table, I'm more aware of my hand. I'm also more aware of the table.
I just had an epiphany.
What?
Like you know how science just continues to like essentially did discover I guess how nature works and all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
and mimic in a way, right? Certain things that are in nature. And when you think about how the molecules act when they are perceived versus not, think about how humans are when how we are when we're perceived when versus like when we think we're alone, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
how differently we behave. Not that we're gonna behave like too hopefully not too crazily different, right? But or maybe I don't know. But that's the same. Like if that is applicable in one area of life, it's gonna apply everywhere else, right? Because
It
patterns
is.
repeat. Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. Patterns repeat everywhere. That's crazy. And we are not those patterns. We are the creator of the pattern. We are God playing that we're not God. Another thought experiment that's really cool. Going back to
More women should be taught that we are God, taught not to be playing not God, as you create humans out of inside you.
Yes, yeah, you women are literally like you said before, portals to God. I love that analogy. It's such a beautiful analogy.
I mean,
Like
that's why you want to go
women
inside it so bad. It's like maybe I'll find enlightenment in the vagina.
you there's a book about that called Finding God Through Sex by David Data. It's an amazing book.
I
Highly
mean, that makes
recommend.
sense why the occult practices like involves magic with sex, you know, because there's a aspect to it. It's the yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. What do you know about that stuff?
There's a you know a podcast on the Sean Ryan show.
Huh?
There's a priest talking about he's an exorcist or something. Or maybe I'm confusing things, but he talked about different practices the occult, I guess, practices and people who there's like the occult Bible and all this stuff. But anyways, it like every religion, whether perception of dark or not, right? It acknowledges the power of sexual energy. You know.
Yes. Yes. The most powerful energy in the universe because it's the energy of creation.
Yeah.
So,
Like
yeah.
when I think of like the universe came to be, right? It was the Great Big Bang, right? It's like well
Let there be light.
when you think about a baby coming into the world and like the whole process itself, like it's pretty chaotic, you know. So
It is. Have you seen that study that they recently did where they were able to film the moment a sperm fertilizes an egg? There's a layer of
there's
zinc,
a
a flash of light.
flash of light, yeah.
Fucking insane, isn't that?
That's pretty
So
insane.
freaking cool. So cool. I love that stuff.
That's like on a cellular level, the egg is going like, oh, that's the spot.
Yes, the egg is like, finally, I'm living my purpose.
it.
You made it.
You were.
Congratulations.
You
It's a
made it to the
long
G.
journey.
You made it to the G spot, baby.
You were one in a billion. Oh man. I don't know what the normal sperm count is. I think it's like 100 million or something. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's like 100 million. Some men have way more, some men have less, but I'm pretty sure it's around a. We
Don't.
can
Yeah.
imagine that. Like you're the one sperm out of 100 fucking million, man,
And then you
going on that
understand,
journey.
and then you understand why men are the way they are. Everything's a competition. No, no, no. Even like if you pay attention to like little boys,
Yes.
maybe don't pay attention to little boys, but but just
Uh-huh.
growing up, you'll observe that kids as they grow up, especially boys, is they're like, well, I'm the biggest. Well, I'm the strongest. Well, I did it the fast. Well, I ran like faster than you or something. You started competing, you know.
Yes. Yes. I love competition. It's so fun. I like competition that I think I can win. I'm
It's
not
funny.
usually.
I don't. I liked this guy in college, and some other girl also liked him, and I was like, no, this is not worth my time. Like, I just was like, if I have to fight over a dude,
Uh-huh.
no. It's funny because I'm actually still friends with him, like, and I would not date him, but like I'm so grateful. The people that I have not slept with are the ones that remained in my life.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once sex happens, there's this like it's like a drug, you know? You can't help but want more. Also, it does bring you closer to God. Whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, it does. It's just
Mm,
that is the
I
mechanism.
would disagree. I would disagree with the caveat because cause think about it. You just from observing a different pattern, right? People who go to church, you have
Uh-huh.
plenty of churchgoers who are seeking the right relationship with God, right? They do the thing, but when you talk to some of them, you'll be like, "You have ways to go, my child." You
Well,
know, you know, God
that's
is
the
always
conundrum.
God is always connected with you, whether you choose to tap into that, tap into that. That's a whole different story.
Well, that goes back into what I was saying earlier about just by simply interacting with other things, other experiences, other people, you are connecting more with God because that thing that you're interacting with is another expression of God. Whether we are aware of it or not aware of it doesn't really matter. If we want to be more aware of it, then great. You can practice that as well. But by virtue of going out into the world and experiencing as much as you can possibly experience, you are connecting more with God because that is another form of God. You can do this, you can accomplish the same thing by sitting with yourself and going deep into the opposite direction, deep internally.
You can be experiencing God but not connecting with Him.
Okay, so let's define connection.
Because think about it. Okay, just think about how. At least this is a belief that I have. It's like you can only meet somebody as deeply as they've met themselves, right? Like you ever
You
talk?
can only meet somebody
Sorry,
as
somebody can.
deeply
Sorry,
as. Say
somebody
that again.
can. Somebody can meet you as deeply as they've met themselves.
Somebody can meet you as deeply as they met themselves. What does that mean?
Okay. Have you ever talked to somebody who's like, okay, let me not do a putting down joke. Let me just look at it from perspective like talking to a little kid versus like an adult.
Okay.
Like you cannot have certain conversations with the kid because that awareness hasn't built up yet, right? So the same thing with like what was my original thought earlier?
You said that you can only meet someone
Yeah,
as
but
deep.
before that, because
Um,
we were talking about
I
connection to
my
God and stuff.
my claim was that the more
Awareness.
you interact with, the more you are connecting with God.
Yeah, but it doesn't guarantee. No, no, no. You would have to first become aware of it. You have to, you know what I
Well,
mean?
that's what I'm saying. Being conscious of it or unconscious of it are two totally different experiences, but those inherently don't really matter. The fact still remains, as we are interacting with another form of material, which is just another expression of God, technically that interaction itself does contribute to conscious expansion. It does
Okay,
contribute to
conscious expansion, yes, but it
connecting with God.
doesn't.
Well,
It
I
doesn't
see the
get.
same. Those are the same thing. Consciousness expansion is the same thing as saying expanding awareness of God.
Yeah, but some people lack that awareness.
Yeah, a lot. We all do.
Like somebody can be stuck in a cycle. Like I'll look an example of um like give an example with my dad, for example, right? He's going through the cycle with his addiction, right? With alcoholism, and he doesn't. He's so in it that he cannot recognize that he can just step out, right? So obviously there's a pattern after a while. That road is so cemented, but like you can ultimately this. It goes back to the beginning of our conversation. You can always step out of that identity, right? That study that was done on the multi-personality disorder thing, not the study, but you know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
you can regain sight when you have this new personality. You
Yes.
can suddenly not become diabetic, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, the power of the mind and neuroplasticity. Yes. What I'm saying is the interaction right there in the center point, the interaction, regardless of the material, regardless of the
The
state,
takeaway.
regardless of the state of the material, whether it's conscious, unconscious, whether it's inebriated
Okay.
or uninebriated, the interaction itself exists as a connection with God.
That's what I would
Exists
tell my ex.
as
You connected with God. You're welcome.
yes, you could say that. That is true, whether we are aware of it or not. Like I am unaware of so many things that are happening right now. There are so many aspects or formations of God that I am unaware of right now. I'm aware of God as it is in the formation of you, this computer, this screen,
Yeah,
but there's so much more. The
there
more
is.
the more I become aware of, the more I pay attention to, the more I am aware of God because everything that you see is God. So, consciousness is that so that is the goal is to expand consciousness, um basically have material be more aware of itself being another form of God. So life itself is a beautiful thing.
Life is beautiful. Yeah.
Mhm. It's hard to kind of wrap our minds around, but that's my belief. Now, of course, this is the words that I'm saying are words that have been said many times before. It's not mine. Um, I've just I've just used these words
It's
to
like, I like this thought pattern. I'm going to take it.
yes, yeah, exactly.
At least at some point you decide, like, I'm going to take that thought pattern. That's what I did with, like, some of my friends. I was like, I like the way she thinks about herself. I'm going to just take that.
Yeah, yeah. We all do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tony has said at one point, many times actually. He said that there are no original thoughts. In fact, there are other people out there in this world right now that are having the exact same thoughts that we're having right now. It's crazy. There are no original thoughts. All thought already exists. There's an infinite amount of thought. We can we can pay attention to it or not pay attention to it.
It was like there was like some kind of mathematical theory that was developed in Italy, and simultaneously the same, like, or maybe mathematical equation or something was developed on different side of the world at the same time, and it was like during the 18 or 1900s or something, like before the internet. Like they had
Wow,
no idea.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
happening
wild.
all the time. Like in old civilizations like the Sumerians, Mesopotamians, um, the Egyptians, all separated by time and location. They all have depictions of this shape of the flower of life, this
Yeah,
very unique shape. They all have
I
depictions.
thought you were doing like the shape of your elbow, like this shape.
Oh, this shape right there. What happened? This shape.
The flower life. It's the video you sent me on it a while ago from the actor dude
Mm.
that was explaining. Such a great explanation. I love that video.
Oh,
It
it's
was
great. I love
fantastic.
it. Hmm. It's so
Yeah.
much fun. But yeah, going back to the whole consciousness thing, dolphins and whales are, they say, as conscious as we are because they have just as many neurons as we do, some more than us. Um, However,
I
they are
mean
conscious.
that would make sense why that dude in the Bible like lived in a whale's mouth for like a month or whatever, how long, and then just stepped out. I'm alive.
What the whale was like caring for it in its
Yeah,
mouth or
yeah.
something.
He's like, God, I got you, man.
Sweet. That's an interesting story. I don't know that story.
Yeah, okay, just read it and stuff.
Okay.
Whatever,
I'll check it
whatever.
out.
And there's like a dude in the Bible that essentially was like trying to, I don't want to say go against God, but he was resisting his calling essentially, and he had to go to like a certain part of the world or something. He had to like go to some town or whatever country, and so he was going the opposite direction or something. So he's like, nope, I'm not going there. And God's like, bet.
Hmm.
You want to stay in the whale's mouth for a long time?
You gonna learn today.
You gotta learn today, son.
Yeah, whales are fucking awesome. Whales and dolphins. They're just as conscious as we are, but they're conscious in a different way. They're more conscious. It's assumed they're more conscious with their feeling and emotional side of the brain than their logical and rational side of the brain. However, they do use their logical and
I would get
and
along with a
rational
whale.
side
Can
of
you
the brain.
imagine? Can you
What?
imagine? Oh, I feel like a whale would be a good friend for like a girl. What he did to you, not right. I'm with you on that. Great. You want me to key his car? No, all emotions, no logic.
Yes,
Like,
all
yeah, we're
emotion.
going to jail. It's fine. It's fine. That'd be a good character in a cartoon.
That would be a good character, actually. Huh. Maybe we should create something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're more conscious with their feeling and emotional side of the brain, whereas we are more conscious with our linear, logical, rational side of the brain. We can be conscious leveraging both.
No. It's because no. I just had a thought and I was like, I'm gonna just choose. It almost escaped me. And I was like, no. It's because when we forget to have fun, right? Because when you're having fun with things, you can have both elements of the logic and the emotion.
Hmm. Yeah, dolphins and whales have fun. They play games. They laugh.
Yeah. Have you heard
Like
about
the
this?
whole.
Have you heard about the people that go diving to be around whales and stuff, and because whales do that sonic thing, the
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
and they have just like overwhelming emotional responses. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that causes hearing damage? Being that close to a whale going. Can you imagine
I don't
the
know.
whale? Just imagine someone's going like a whale is doing like but it's like up close to your ear, just like it's like that's really fucking loud.
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Because I want to
Maybe.
experience that. That sounds like a very intimate experience.
Yeah, it does. There's something to be said. Obviously, music is fucking incredible and a
It is.
beautiful
You
thing.
actually gave me that revelation, by the way. Truly,
Which one?
like, which one? I have so many.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually doing a post about it. Like I in my Canva.
Hmm.
Um and essentially like how music is a portal to emotion, right?
Yes.
And like it shifts your emotion connection, right? Like it does so much. People experience like they go to music a lot more than they are aware. More than even I was aware for a long time, even though I do music,
Hmm.
And like so like made me realize how awesome I am essentially. Like that is like yeah.
You're very gifted and blessed to have the ear canal that
The ear
resonates.
the ear canal.
To have the ear canals that you do.
That's really visual. Especially after having a conversation about whales. I hope you can follow my thought pattern
Yeah, totally.
where I connected.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No,
Another dirty joke. That's it.
okay. That's okay. Keep them coming.
Can I? Okay, actually, I want your advice on this. More like not advice. I want your insight on this. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. He's a dude. Um, he essentially said that I'm fucked because no dude wants a girl that's funnier than them. Like, and I was like, well, to be fair, I don't want a dude that's who cannot make me laugh.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it's like, because he said like I'm pretty intimidating, and I was like, well, I was pretty intimidating, like even at a young age, because I was like, yeah. He was like, because you do the thing like, hello, I'm Sofiya, and I'm like, what do you mean, like introductions? You know, I'm just like, hey, nice to meet you. Pretty intimidating.
Like he's saying that that is intimidating, that
Mm,
pattern,
he
or
said
you're.
he can understand why someone would be intimidated by that, and like the fact that, like, because I'm not ugly, right? I'm pretty, and like guys do not expect that from a girl, like especially the jokes, typically. So yeah, so like I don't want to believe that I'm fucked. You know, I mean, I want to believe that
I don't think
because
so. No, I don't. I don't really know what he. I wouldn't say that's true. First and foremost, that's not true.
because
Um,
like he
that is
essentially said
a
like the thing that
internal.
guys have is that they can make a girl laugh.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a very limiting belief, but okay.
Yeah, I
I'd
was
say
like,
that everything so far that you've said that this guy has said has all been a limiting belief that's been projected onto generalized men
yeah,
and is
yeah,
not true. It's just a reflection of how he perceives himself.
probably. Yeah, and it's interesting because he's the one pointing out to me like how the stuff that I'm sharing on social media or about my experiences again with I guess with particular culture. Usually date Latinos, right? So and I was I'm making jokes about it. He's like, we're not all like that, and then I sent him a video of a guy saying like, "Te amo," means like I love you, right? In Spanish, like "Te amo," like when he likes you. When he doesn't like you, "Te amo." When he's honest, "Te amo." When he's cheating on you, "Te amo." He's like, "Yeah, I've been there too," and I was like, "What are you?" You're saying that I'm here painting all these things about your your I guess the similar culture that you come from because
Uh-huh.
but then you're saying like, hey, I shouldn't be, like we're not all like that. It's like, yeah, I know, but but here you are admitting that you've done that yourself,
Uh-huh.
and it's like you're not helping your case. So it's
Yeah,
like
that's funny. That's just like cultural or, race jokes are some of the funniest jokes
tell
because
that to a black person.
Dave Chappelle is the one that said this. Dave Chappelle said that racism is some of the funniest shit ever. That's why he
Yo,
jokes about it.
true story. So I had like a person, it was actually funny for me to see. Somebody commented on one of my posts and they went into, the race angle automatically. They were essentially searching for a fight. The and it was so obvious to see that through the filter through which they see the world is going to be always with the race. That is their automatic. Like before they even went down that rabbit hole, like of whatever they said, I was like, this in my back of my mind. I was like, they're gonna go probably that direction. Like I was like, but I was giving the benefit of the doubt. I was like, because I shared somebody's message, and I reacted to the video, and I tagged the creator, right? And which is what you do on the internet. It's like, hey, this is a cool message. This is the original creator, and the video blew up, and somebody's like, you're stealing from a black creator. I'm like, so I ended up calling I called my friend. I was like, yo, I need black advice. You know,
That's hilarious.
luckily, yeah, that's what I do. Because with my black friends, I was like, I need black advice. If my, what is happening here? Because I don't think I'm crazy. And he's like, no, this person's just searching for a fight or whatever. Luckily, not oppressing, just annoying.
Hmm.
Somebody.
Yeah, that's so common. It's unfortunate, but
Yes.
yeah, people get attached to that identity and then the meaning that they give to that identity. Like I could identify as being white, but I may have a different meaning for what being white means.
Versus
Some
another white,
people,
yeah.
huh?
Versus another white person or dude.
Right, right. Like some people might say, you know, be racist against white people and say white people are terrible, you know, rapists, murderers, blah blah blah. You name it, right?
White people don't rape as much, but there's a higher statistic to white men being pedophiles.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. I would say number one thing that's contributing to this is pornography, and we should, as a society, really kind of reflect on that and have the meaningful
Let me
conversation.
reflect on the vagina.
I think it like one OnlyFans um, is is not helping
Oh,
at all.
1,000%. Did you hear the
Um,
guy, the creator, the original, like, who founded OnlyFans? He died at 43.
oh really?
Yeah.
Well, how did he
God was like, I'm taking you away now. You've done enough damage. You've expanded the consciousness, not in the way I want it. Thank you, but maybe it is, because the greater the, what is it? The greater the villain, the greater the hero, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
That is the sequence of change. That is the sequence of transformation.
but I will say this, that the one of the ways I think a person can will not be tempted by, I guess, porn, or even like be disgusted by it at some point, right? Is
Hmm.
that you seek genuine connection with people and with God. Like,
Yes, 100%.
by us saying that, we're saying that it's normalized, but it's not. You know what I
Well,
mean?
what is that? What is
We
normalized?
create reality. Right?
Yeah,
I
what is
guess
normalized?
in certain atmospheres, it has become normalized, or we think has become normalized. It's like there was a questionnaire that was done when I was a kid, when I was in high school, and I promise this relates. And they were asked, how often do you drink? And versus how often do you think people in your class drink? What's the percentage? And what they came out of that is that most of us thought that majority of people in our grade drink, when in reality it was like 10%. So we thought it's like, hey, the perception, right? Because perception is reality.
Right.
So we thought all the cool kids, whatever, all the people, they were out drinking. So we thought like 60% of the grade just went out weekends, just can be hammered every single weekend.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, majority of people do not do that. Actually, it's just 10%.
So true. I hear.
So our
Yes,
perception creates that, right? So it's like, so when
yes.
I'm saying, it has become normalized, it's like, no, it has normalized in some atmospheres
Hmm.
for some people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And it probably seems that way because those atmospheres are
They're
the
really
atmosphere
loud.
are really loud. Exactly. I did a deep dive into the state of the world a few times. One again recently. And according to global metrics on a global scale, the world is becoming a better place. Less crime, less war, less famine, um, lower poverty, um, uh, there's a bunch of other metric health increase on a global scale. Of course, there are always going to be little elements, but there's 8 point something billion people. And so we think the world is going downhill because news and social media literally thrive, like their existence exists because of fear. It is literally a fear engine. And we are feeding it because our brains are wired to pay attention to the thing that is going to cause us harm.
Yeah, so
And
we
new
survive. So we
to
survive. Yeah, that
survive.
makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So it makes sense why. It makes sense to the process of which is making this seemingly negative trend of the world exists, but that's not the case. Like
But it's also interesting because they will cover topics that or cover stories that repeat over and over, right? That feed into the to fear. But then when it comes to certain topics, they're not gonna do that, even though that also covers fear. So there's a threshold, right? Because I feel like, because they want
like
to
how
keep
much
you
we
they
can
want to keep you engaged with the fear, right? But they
yeah.
don't want to expose it, right?
Yeah.
In a
Like
way.
they want to like break the meter. They want to bring it back every once in a while.
Yeah. So it's like as long as people remain just watching in the advertisement, right? The ad revenue and stuff.
But yeah,
Um,
commercials. They might do
it
like
can
one or
keep the
two,
consumers.
huh?
It can keep the people as consumers, in
Yep.
that loop.
Yep. Yeah. This is why I'm building my app. Um, I know I'm kind of tiptoeing with fire here by building a tool that exists on a screen, but I have designed it in a way that is going to encourage people to get off of it, and
But
also
then
help.
how are you gonna make money?
No ads, just subscription based, and then obviously I'll sell my time,
Yeah.
one-on-one time, but the app already has an AI API built into it. So that technically does cost me money. So if people use that, then I will charge for that, um, $5 a month. And that is actually really cheap for the amount of AI that's built into this. It's probably I might actually be in the negative. We'll have to see. You have to find out. But um,
For now.
time
For
will
now.
tell. Time will
For
tell. I
now.
don't
For
know.
now. For now.
I don't know. But in any case, I believe that it is possible to build a tool on a screen that helps us to get off the screen and can encourage us. Like the feeling that I get when
That's
I
like
scroll through Instagram is terrible.
it's
I
like. Can you
despise
imagine telling a sex addict, "I will cure you from your sex addiction with sex"?
it. I mean, I'm sure
Genius.
that could happen. I'm sure that could happen. Like, I'm just imagining.
That
Um,
sex was so good. I want to repeat that over. That sex was so bad that I don't want to do it again.
yeah, or that. Yeah. Like I can imagine some like a very, very conscious person having sex with a not so conscious person, and then that not so conscious person being really curious, like, oh wow, that was way better
No, you're.
than the other experiences that I've had. I want to learn more, and then they engage in conversation
Well, yeah,
and
because
instead of more sex. Say,
because
hey, how are you?
every interaction that you want to have, what is it? Is to make you feel better. So it's like, wait, how can I get this sex more? So then,
Or
but then they will ask,
that's a good
yeah,
question, and that person who's conscious will be like, well, it's not the sex, it's the spirit
it's that
behind
I
that.
care. It's not, yeah.
Well, there's a really good movie about this. Is what kind of triggers me thinking about that is this movie called One Dawn with fuck, what's that actor's name? He's super good. It's a guy in Jersey. He's like your stereotypical Jersey guy, you know. That was terrible Jersey accent. But he's a
It's
sex
good
addict.
enough. Yeah,
He's a
okay.
sex addict, and he's addicted to porn specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie he's got a good heart, you know. He's just kind of got this addictive pattern,
Mm-hmm.
so he's kind of navigating
He's got a
that.
good heart, you know.
I think everybody's got a good heart, but
There was a clip that I saw from I don't watch reality shows, but there was a clip from like Love Island going around of the father of some girl, who was like questioning the guy. And he said, he seems like a good guy. He's just struggling with, he said, I don't think honesty is his strongest quality. I was like, that's one way to describe a liar.
that is a great way to describe a liar. I would much rather say that than say you're.
It's like, honesty is not your strong suit. That's
Yeah,
what I would say about some people. I was like, honesty, you're a great guy. Honesty's not your. You're working on that.
yeah.
Working on that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, I do believe that the the thing or the tool itself is
Can
not.
you do the Jersey impression again?
Hey, I'm your stereotypical Jersey guy, eh? It's a Jersey thing.
Maybe just think of Vinny from what is that movie?
The
Um,
movie? I was thinking
My cousin Vinny, my cousin
my
Vinny,
cousin Vinny, yeah.
with
I was thinking Jersey Shore.
With Joe Pesci. Oh, you're thinking of Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
When I think of Jersey, I do not think of Jersey Shore, even though I probably should. But like when I
Well,
think of Jersey
that's
Shore,
because
I think of that
you're
show that's disgusting.
Jersey Shore is disgusting. Is
The
that what you're
show,
saying?
the
The
show.
show? Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. I so because I moved around so much, I struggled making friends because they did not know humor. So I started watching TV shows, kind of to learn what is the culture, right? Because I was like, well, how can I connect with people, but I remember like 2 episodes in, I would watch the show from the start, and so I started watching Jersey Shore. First episode, I watched it. The second one, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be the same episode over and over. And then I just turned it off. I was like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah, same thing over and over again. Question. Question, I'm curious. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think was the first thing that cave people laughed about? Like the
Well,
first laugh.
just that.
What do you think it was?
Probably a dead joke. Probably something with death for sure. It's like,
Like
oh,
they,
he was a nice guy, but like a rock
no,
fell
I
on
mean
him.
like with the intellect level of a caveman. Like
I
imagine
would.
just like okay, something happened and then and they just start laughing and discover that laugh. Oh, that's funny. What do you think? Like in nature?
Somebody falling. Somebody falling. 1,000%. Somebody falling and not dying. They're like, ah, that was funny, and they didn't die.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you survived.
Just all like mangled up, like, and they're like,
Think about this, like slapstick comedy, right? It's so like that's a genre of comedy, just slapstick comedy, right? With the
yes,
falling and
yeah,
hitting and stuff.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
That must have been quite an event in Mother Nature, like the first laugh, right? When organisms are actually able to notice humor in nature, like as like the birth of humor. Gosh, what an amazing thing, humor.
The birth of humor.
Birth of humor at some point, and then the animal that does it is like like laughing, and
That
then
sounds like a Netflix special for some comedian. The birth of humor.
ooh, that's a
Hey,
good one.
you could have the birth of humor
I can do that,
special.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I do
It's
have a
like
ton of jokes.
you do. You
I
do.
just don't. I just don't practice. Just don't practice them. Let's just see what the
You
last
haven't
one.
practiced them yet, or not as often.
Not as often.
You can practice
Yeah,
them on me.
I could. I let's see what the very last joke I wrote was. Uh,
There were some ones that you wrote down that we shared. I forget. We were like, this is going. I'm gonna write it down.
where is it? Oh, here it is. All right. The very last joke I wrote was, "I'm a drug dealer posted up outside." Already, it's fucking funny. Wait, wait, wait. Okay. This is actually a good one.
Sorry, I'm a drug dealer. I'm a
Oh,
drug
well,
dealer.
here's one right before that. Dick is like a white guy, and cock is definitely black.
That is a fact. That is a
All right,
fact.
let's see. I'm a drug dealer posted up outside Petco with my janky box bike. However, I don't sell normal drugs, I sell dog food. Hey, I'm outside the store. Great, I'll be there soon. Traffic's a bitch. You got the stuff? Yeah, you know I got it. I won't be calling if I didn't owe Janice a favor. What kind you got? I got hard chew, I got soft chew. Damn, man, you know I can only get the soft kibble. My teeth keep falling out.
We have to, I feel like, rename the drug dealer to something else, like play on the word drug and dog or something, or but like you're not dealing dogs. You're,
No, I thought it was funny, like the idea of someone trying to be quiet and,
I'm a kibble dealer.
I'm a kibble dealer.
I'm a kibble dealer.
What you got? I
What you
got
got?
soft, I got dry, I got, this, that. Anyway.
I'm sure at some point, depending on how engaged U.S. gets with the war, somebody's gonna be dealing dog kibble.
Dog kibble, cat food.
It's gonna go underground. It's like it happened, with the alcohol, during the 20s or
Mm,
20s or whatever during prohibition.
yeah, prohibition. Hmm.
What are you prohibiting?
All the dogs are in there playing poker with their top hats. You know,
No, yeah, I have
smoking
plenty of
cigars.
kibble. Plenty of kibble.
Hey, you going to that underground kibble joint?
Yo, I really want to watch. I want to watch Aristocats again. Aristocats and like some dog movie. What is the
Oh,
one? There was like, I mean,
all dogs go to heaven. Going.
no, that's gonna make me cry. No, 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 no. Lady and the Tramp. It's good.
Oh, that's
Lady
a
and the
good one.
Tramp. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Always when you
Yeah.
have some like weird characters, it's like, you know.
Yeah. Which one? What's that weird character you're talking about? The twitchy one? There's like a twitchy dog in there, I think.
I feel
He's
like
like
that's
a
probably
pug.
from Aristocats.
Mm.
Maybe.
Oh, Feifel Goes West. There's a scene when with the cat and the dog, and they're having a like a Mexican or a duel, and they're like doing weird faces. It's hilarious. I remember laughing. I remember laughing as a
I will say this since I've gotten like my eyebrows done recently again. Every time I go to the eyebrow like place and I'm finished,
This sounds like an eyebrow place I want to go to.
me too. 10 out of 10
Clearly, you
recommend.
go all the time.
So every time I mean it's just an ongoing dirty joke. Like it just never stops.
I can see the gears going in your brain.
Yeah, sometimes during a conversation, like most of our conversations, you'll say something. And I don't know if you're aware, but if I'm like laughing, my brain like I'm not gonna say it, but my brain already went there and like laughed at the joke, and then like and I'm like, pay attention to me and focus. This man is talking about electromagnetics, and here I'm thinking about dick, but not even like dick like to enjoy, just like that's pretty funny.
Yes. There's some correlation somehow.
Yeah, yeah. To what dick being funny or to well
Well, I
correlation?
mean,
Wait, what do you mean correlation with what you're saying or
with jokes, like where the brain gets the joke from, there's obviously some sort of correlation that the brain is making with whatever the topic is.
it's just playing words?
Exactly.
But
It's a skill. It's a super skill.
mm, it's so
Same words.
useful. If so useful, I would be a millionaire right now.
I bet you could. I bet you could if you committed yourself to being it. If that was something you wanted to do, you could easily become a comedian.
I would get canceled so fast.
Nah, maybe a few years ago, but it's getting better.
Now people are like, you know what? I was a little bit sensitive back then about my existence.
Yeah. Yeah. There comes a fine line
Yeah.
when we don't, obviously none of us want
Sorry, I built
to.
my foundation on a house of cards,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then your joke dismantled it.
Yeah.
I'm
That's a
gonna cancel you today, and I'm gonna.
yeah, that's something that needs to be worked out with that
uh,
person, not with
yeah.
society.
I'm gonna stalk you. What do they do to people where they like share their like location or something where if they don't like somebody, they'll share like where they live,
Oh,
and it's
really?
essentially so people can like find them and do the work for them, right? I forgot what it's called, but it's like a shitty thing.
Hmm.
Anyway.
This is why I'm called. This is why I'm called for that kind of shit specifically to get out there and help people,
Mhm.
help expand consciousness, help people become aware of God in them, in other people. The more aware we are of ourselves in another person, we're less likely to cause harm.
The way you phrased it just now, like the way my, it's almost like you're giving a presentation. And it's like, and this is what I came here to do. And
That is what I came here to do
this is what I came here to do
in this
to
existence
help people in this
as
existence
Brandon.
as Brandon that I'm
Yeah.
choosing to be and
Yeah.
here.
Crazy. Crazy. I could be anybody. You could be anybody.
I am anybody.
Who are you?
Well, wait, going back to the eyebrow joke.
Oh
Eyebrow
yeah.
joke, not the joke, but like
The
every
eyebrow.
time I say, I'm also able to calibrate back to
All
the
right.
thing, you know. Um, so so after I get my eyebrows done, I always step out and look at me like, oh, finally, I don't look like a man. Like every single time, it's like, ugh. Finally, my Adam's apple is gone. Woo!
Huh?
You
Huh?
know. But what I'm going with this is that like the way I did them recently, I was like, wait, I could do more of the facial expressions for Jim Carrey because of the whatever, you know. I was like, I started like looking in the mirror. I was like, am I doing? You know, because he has such a great control of all of the micro expressions of his
Yes.
face. You
Yes.
know,
Uh-huh. Jack Black is really good at that too.
yeah, with the hmm.
Yeah. How do you can I do one?
I don't know. Can you do?
I can do one kinda.
You can try to do two
You can do
if you really want to.
like two.
Are you trying to lift one, or are you trying to?
I'm trying to lift this one.
You gotta practice.
Yeah. It's hard, but it is a worthy endeavor. Expression.
Uh,
I read somewhere recently that there are 42 muscles, 43 muscles in the face.
you just
And
used at least 39 of them just now from just you searching for that
for some reason, I couldn't
42.
just that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, and out of with all those muscles combined, you can make 10,000 facial expressions. Interesting. Interesting. And we don't even have anywhere near 10,000 words, I don't think, to
10,000 facial expressions.
describe feeling.
That is so good. Wow.
A lot. Yeah. Very subtle ones. Each one of those is communicating something. The face is the main, like, physiology, body language is the main place that we communicate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
So
so.
imagine if I had 10,000 facial words and I can communicate, like, we're playing blackjack
I
and
mean, you can.
I'm communicating subtly. Do you know what I just said? I
I
got an
mean,
ace. I got an
that thing's
ace king.
that thing happens. I don't know if you. So this is more like I think a girl thing, and also like within a subsect of being a girl is like within the black community. So I think it was Kiki Palmer and another actress, and they had to do like guess the word, and
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer was like because she had to guess Titanic, you know, and she's like Rose.
Rose?
Rose. That was her hint, right? She could only
Yeah.
say like she could not say the Titanic, obviously, but she had to,
Oh, right,
she had
right.
to like give the hint, and she's like Rose. So black people are really good at like their facial expressions are so good when,
Yes.
especially when they communicate with each other. It's really like interesting to observe. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and so the other actress, she's like, "No, I'm gonna get it wrong." She's like, "No, you cannot get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. You know it." Rose.
And then she
She's
got
like,
it.
"No, no, it's gonna be wrong." Girl, it's like the girl expressions, like girl, 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 girl. Like there's infinite conversations happening. Anyways, and the other actress, she went like Titanic. She's like, "Yes, come on, you cannot get it wrong when we're communicating with
Yeah.
this." You know?
Mm-hmm. That's why I like deaf people because they communicate so well. They don't rely on words.
Yeah.
They rely on body language. That's why I
I
think we need to use more.
there was a I was just watching like a sign language video a while ago. It was like fuck around and find out. It was like I think it's like fuck around, but this is the around and
This is
find out or something and like
fuck around.
something and find out or something. Figure if I find that sort of thing like something like that like fuck around and find out because it's around. Anyways, but I was just like it's like that's so many like no you have to do this.
Hmm.
I just thought it was cool. I was like this is gonna be useful for later.
Super cool.
For this guy who can barely communicate in a regular language for me to use a different one.
Did I tell you my recent theory on the different expressions of feminine and masculine?
No, but do tell, please.
Okay. So you remember at Date with Destiny, right?
Yeah.
You have the female expressed or the feminine expressing the feminine in dance and flow, right? And how that felt natural and very fun. Not only for the women, but also very enjoyable for the men to just watch, like, just a
By the way,
beautiful.
most of the women, as I guarantee it, if you ask anyone who who went there and probably was around, their tip. Let me start again. What I did, where I was sitting, I moved before the dance started. And I guarantee you that many women also did the same thing, because especially if they're surrounded by men that they know, they don't want to dance freely around necessarily. Well, it depends, I guess, their relationship they have, but especially if it's like maybe like a father or like maybe a friend who's a guy or something, they're gonna move. It's like, mm-mm. Anyways, but I guarantee you, like a
That's
portion
interesting.
of women just like they moved consciously to feel safe and free.
Safe and free. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. I did not notice.
Even though you're going around to be other, you're gonna be surrounded by men nonetheless. But it's just like
Well,
it's in a different part of the
interesting note
brain.
on that. Robert Greene, who wrote the book Power,
Mm-hmm.
says that the most dangerous people in our lives are actually the people that we are most close with, friends and loved ones, family, because those are the people that you're most vulnerable with,
Yeah.
and those are the people that have the most ammo against you.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate truth, but if you look at the statistics
But
of
that
crime and violent crime, child abduction, usually it's with between people that know each
that
other.
close. Yeah.
It's really sad,
That
but
would
so that makes sense.
explain.
People would feel safer um, expressing themselves more freely.
That would explain. There's something that one of my exes said is that he always leaves a little bit of room for doubt. Like he didn't say that like outright. I called him out like you're holding back. I spotted like with the I was like my sixth sense whatever. Psh, something's going on, and he was like, "How did you know? How did you know?" And so then he explained that he leaves a little bit of room of doubt for people around him, and I was like, "That's such a interesting way to live." And
It is.
looking back of his patterns of behavior, it makes sense because if you have to leave a little bit of room of doubt with the way you're living. Um, Let me correct
Especially if
that.
the people close in your life have actually caused you significant harm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. There is, so that's one way to protect yourself, and it's not a
but
bad
but
way.
the, but you referencing the that book maybe understand a little better, like because the people closest to us are the ones that that have that can be the most dangerous in a way, right?
Yeah. Yep. Like the people that you are most close with are going to be the people that are more likely to be bothered by your success, especially if they perceive it as you leaving them. Very
Yeah.
common. I've seen that pattern so many times. But yeah,
Just like
there's
with a basic level of like trust, even like I like that, like to me, like you trust the people that you're close with, right? That would make sense. But also, we're from one of the CIA videos. That what is it? Andrew Bustamante, I think that's the guy. He's the ex CIA guy. You know what I'm talking about? The
Mhm.
guy with the hair.
I think I've seen the guy with
Like
the hair.
you know what I'm talking about? He has like he's an ex CIA or whatever, or
I think
FBI,
I've seen those videos. Yeah.
and he explains like some of the tactics, and he says that when we like somebody, already are going down the slope of trust, like immediately, without like that's when we should actually be more like reserved. We should catch ourselves because when we already getting to know somebody, or like, oh, I like this person, you are already trusting that person, like you're going down that slope really quickly, like
Yeah.
just subconsciously you're more inclined,
Yeah, that
right?
makes
So
sense. There's another book that talks about this called the Talking to Strangers by Michael Singer, I think, or Malcolm Gladwell, one of those two. I always mix those two authors up.
probably probably the singer dude, because I know Malcolm Gladwell did the Outliers in another book, but I don't think it was that one.
Okay. In any case, he talks about trust and how it plays a role in culture, in like smaller cultures like tribes.
Mhm.
It's essential, actually. It's ingrained in our DNA to lean on trust, because it's important that we believe that the other person has our best interests at heart because we're all a cohesive member of the same tribe or family unit. So, like,
But then when somebody steps out of that, you're like, huh, I guess not everybody's thinking like me.
well, he hints at the effect of having large culture,
Mm-hmm.
um, like one large tribe essentially. It kind of makes it impossible to lean on that, but we inherently want to. So, like what you're saying, it makes so much sense. When we really like somebody, we're tapping into that old DNA code that tells us, yeah, this is part of your tribe. This is safe. Trust. It
Safe.
feels good.
That dude is saying the right things. It's safe.
I think I think we could leave doubt to protect ourselves as one way to protect ourselves. I think another way, probably the better way to protect ourselves, is to build trust for ourselves, so that if something were to happen, I'm good.
Exactly.
I've got this.
That's so reflecting on that from that experience with this dude is that I realized that you leave a little bit of room for doubt with people because you don't trust them, but that means you also don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself enough to pick out people with good character, right? That you're not gonna handle that well. That's what I took away.
That's a great reflection. So true. Hmm.
But also knowing from people that this person's surrounded by, there's a reason why him and I broke up, and just his pattern, just his struggle with honesty, but it like lost my train of thought. It's you would have to build that mechanism of distrust automatically, right? Because you're if you live in a constant state of lie, I'm gonna just say it like this. If you live in a constant state of lying, or you're used to lying, right? You have to pick out people that are also comfortable with lying. But then by default, you're surrounded by people who are lying, or like lie, right? They're
Hmm.
comfortable with that, which means at any point when it's convenient for them, they may lie to you, right? So you do have to develop that. It's almost like a perpetual like cycle you're creating yourself, right? So
Yes.
you know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
makes sense.
Because you are acting on the behavior you created yourself, right? So you're creating an environment, right? It's like, I'm going to leave a little bit of room for doubt because you know that you've acted on that. You like, because the way you act, it's like some men, it's like, well, I know how men think. It's like the guys will say, right? And it's like, well, probably because you thought that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Versus
Yeah.
like,
At some point.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you would only develop that system if you didn't already practice it. So you have to safeguard against your own system.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all just reflecting our inner world. All of us all the time. Everywhere we go.
It's wild.
It is
Can you
wild.
can you please go back to the feminine masculine thing? Because
Oh yeah.
I really want your insight on
Okay,
that.
so I thought about it. Like, what is the peak of feminine expression would be like, not necessarily from a woman, but just in general, would be like, you know, that seems like you had a funny joke go by.
Oh no, just like the observation of like where guys will be like, I'm gonna wait for her to whatever. Like the stereotype of the current culture of the men are waiting. It's like, do you want to wear the heels as well? So it's the current dating stereotype of men wanting to be courted versus the women. It's anyways. So because you
Oh,
said that,
is
you
that a
know.
thing now?
Hmm,
That
hmm.
I'm unaware of that. This is a good thing that I'm unaware of these types of things. Not that the thing itself is bad, but I prefer not to be super engaged with like mainstream
Good.
culture. However, there I do have to dance a little bit with mainstream
Do a little
culture.
dance, make a little love, get down tonight.
Um, so the peak expression of feminine would be like flow, dance, waves of an ocean. And the peak expression of masculine would be word.
Word.
Speaking. Yes,
Speaking of
the
him.
word. Speaking in using language, using or math, like linear kind of things. Whereas feminine is very flowy and dancey and circular. Masculine is very linear, one direction, unwavering, unchanging. And the best way to
Not
express
with
that,
word necessarily, because I
think
would
about it.
say,
Okay, think
yeah,
about it. Who's the most masculine man that you've seen or been exposed to in your
the most masculine, like most centered or whatever, like in their masculine, people at Tony Robbins events,
same
probably.
same. I
So
agree. I agree
so
with that.
just
So, and Tony Robbins being the
just
model for that, right?
Tony Robbins, you, and there was another person, like a trainer as well,
Hmm.
Guillermo's, you know.
Yes.
Oh, actually, no. Tony Robbins, you, and there's a person that I met in Fiji. His name is Shambo. He's like a coach. He's
Huh?
so present.
Yeah.
Like I was like, whoa, you know.
Awesome.
Like I want to like. It's so like it's like when you step next to a monk and they're just like, you know. It's just like it's an experience to just be surrounded by that. And him
It
and I
is.
had a conversation, and and just the the presence of a man being
Yes.
just like, you know,
Yes. 100%.
because you don't experience that day to day necessarily unless you go to these events.
Yep. Which is why I love one of the many reasons why I love going to them. But yeah, I had this epiphany. I believe, I mean, I'm totally open to, being exposed to something new, but uh it's really interesting how when Tony or anybody is in a conscious flow, a super masculine state, language just pours out in an unwavering sequence of expression.
Yes,
Oh man.
Poor choice of words. Not poor, but that makes sense. Something else would
Yes.
be
Yes.
if the person's in their masculine, something else would be pouring out. But
Yeah, creation.
yeah,
Creating word, creating babies.
I like how you just like you took my dirty jokes. Like I'm gonna just like dress it up. Just like we're gonna put a little suit on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, make it go to college.
Feed it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think like as a man, and I do identify as a masculine man,
Okay.
um, when I imagine myself being more masculine, I imagine myself being super present in a flow state, talking,
Mm, yeah.
communicating, communicating the infinite thought that is constantly swirling around and above me in a coherent and
But
positive
you're
way.
but you're also doing it in a genuine way because there's plenty of present men, but they have a hidden agenda, right? It's like, well, I'm trying to get to whatever,
Hmm.
and so it's not true presence, right? Because it's a year, but
Well,
from
what is presence? What's the difference?
bro,
What's not true presence and what's true presence?
ooh, okay. So I guess then they're not truly present. Then you're right.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm asking a question. I'm not assuming anything. I'm trying to understand what you mean by true
I know
presence.
you're not assuming, but I already went there and I left.
And she's back. All right.
And scene. It's like, where is the movie? Where's the movie? Bro!
We're
I
in it,
paid 20
man.
bucks for this.
We're in it, man.
Something that I'm observing throughout this conversation um is like I'll be referencing particular points right from my life
Hmm.
and you will reference um like I don't say general but you either from a book or like you take it from a different angle and I'm thinking do I should I go from that angle? Am I streamlining it too close to particular situation? Because you always think about like where's the bigger lesson, right? Whatever situation you go through, or whatever experience, like where's the bigger lesson, right?
Yeah.
If you keep like going into a particular pain point, it's like um you're you're not zooming out to get the lesson necessarily, right? It's like maybe.
Can you give me an example?
Okay, so what I'm observing
Yes.
is that a lot of my little references like have you talked to a guy or have you talked to a woman whatever or like just from my I guess what I fed my mind, right? What I experienced, right? Combination of things like which suggests some triggers or pain points to that, right?
Hmm.
To my experiences with some people from a particular gender, right? From a particular gender, there's only two, but from some people. See, there you go. I'm gonna get canceled for that today. Um,
Not
but
you.
Christ is Lord. Christ is Lord. Sorry, you
Cancel
know,
me.
cancel me. But what I love about I'm laughing at sorry. I'm laughing at what's going on right now because you mentioned how the feminine is very and I'm literally doing that.
Yes, I was just
you
thinking a second ago. You are very feminine. But
know,
remember, the masculine is drawn to the feminine expression. So this is very entertaining for me. I really enjoy this.
I thought it was confusing because some people are like, "Can you get to the point?" Sometimes I'm gonna be like that. Can you get to the point? I will be frustrated, but I guess that makes sense because the feminine is drawn to the masculine.
Yes, it is. Polarity.
Yeah.
So
So
anyway, what were your what were you getting on? You were gonna bring up an example.
that was the example.
Which one?
is that I kept referencing like I'm referencing a pattern that I noticed in my speech.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that I kept, it's like, oh, have you talked to a guy? Do you know men? Or do you know? It's like, because you're giving, let's say, you were giving a benefit of the doubt to someone,
Yes.
but again, my responses, you know, they're tied to my experiences and pain points, right? So, and I'm observing that pattern. I'm like, shit. Do I want to think that like? Do I want to think that way? Is this pattern serving me, right?
Well, if it's
Because
not
you have
now,
a
it did at some point.
huh
If it's not now, I don't know, but I know it did at some point.
for sure, for sure. Because you are very well read. You're very well read, and that translates really well with your speech, right? And like I'm like shit. I need to get on that. Like
Why?
no dirty joke here, but like I need to get on that. Like I mean dirty joke can be there as well, but
Do you need to or do you want to?
I feel like I have to.
Why? That's a powerful word, have to. What are you missing out on by not doing that?
Because the world can be so much richer, right? But the more you, right, it's expanding of consciousness, right? I guess that's what it is. I feel like I have to, right? Because I don't want to be stuck in the same way of thinking.
Oh, okay. So you're saying by
Like if I observe, like to me, like the coolest thing is observing someone whose mind is not similar to mine, but like they have worked out some things that I haven't worked out yet. I'm like, it makes my brain itch. So maybe makes you want to like obviously all of us worked out some things that the other person hasn't, right? All of us have different experiences, but this goes back to like the way your brain works
hmm
and like your responses. I'm just like, I know we're the same human being, we're the same species, but somewhere there you have evolved that I have not, and I and I don't mean it in a way like that men are more evolved than women, but I just mean like you
you're
have
talking about me specifically.
yeah, you have evolved with something that I'm like, it's like I'm gonna compare it to languages. So
hmm
I love languages and so I think differently in each language, which makes sense because it's structured, right? And but it made me aware how limiting the limits each language has, right? Like what it allows you. Like each language has like a set point to where thoughts can go, if that makes sense. Like there's like a hierarchy, and then it's like you reach the limit of thinking here, okay. Like not necessarily the ideas, but just like
Boundaries.
for, like for example, in American language, sorry, American in English, you don't have you and like you formal, or maybe they had before, right? Thou and you, but that just doesn't exist. Versus like in Spanish, you have tú and usted, or like in Ukrainian, te y ve, or in Russian, whatever, Italian. So that creates a different cultural structure. How you treat people who are older than you, right? People you don't know. That
hmm
already creates a basis of respect. Versus like you, like you have to earn my respect, bro. I remember like when I went to high school in the U.S. I saw a kid throw like a spitball right from the pen at a teacher, and I was like, you would
Crazy.
never do that in Ukraine. Like I remember like a teacher in Ukraine, like she hit some girls like close to her like hands because they were painted. She's like, tomorrow clean nails. It was very much like you had this reverence or fear of people who are older than you, to be fair, fear played into it because they try to instill fear in you. But but language played a part in that. So to go with where I'm going, duh. It's they're talking about the complexity of each language, right? There's different complexity levels, and English is structured differently than, let's say, or Anglo-Saxon languages are structured differently versus like Romantic, or even versus Cyrillic, or like no, Cyrillic, that's alphabet, but like the languages that exist. I don't know which subsect of languages is, for example, Arabic, right? So how different Arabic it is from Mandarin
Mm-hmm.
versus like Slavic languages versus Germanic, Anglo-Saxon, right? It it it's almost like it's code, right? It's code. Think about it. Code within a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can only run a. You're enjoying this. you can you can only run certain apps or certain programs within a computer. Same thing with our mind, right? With our language, right? There's only a certain number, certain order of programs you can run within our computer. So when you within the language, right? So when you learn a different language, you're like, huh, a different level unlocked, right? And so I want to learn Arabic and other languages, but so going back to the original thought is that you've unlocked something within your own evolution that makes me go like, that makes me, I guess, reflect back on my own program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to tweak something here.
Hmm.
That was a really
Interesting.
long tangent, computers and
No, it's
it's like
interesting.
how you're gonna try to put my speech into clips for Instagram, and like you're like, what?
It's good. Well, it does an automatic cut thing, so it's like, cut, 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 cut.
It's just gonna be
Um,
the equivalent of like skibbity skibbity skibbity.
no, that's interesting that you say that because my best friend um recently told me that like a couple days ago, and I've heard my mom has said that a couple times. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Sorry, no
I
dirty joke here. I'm just laughing at myself. That's all.
Yeah, no,
So
I got you. Yeah, I think language is very limiting. Like you were just saying, language in and of itself, not just like where it comes from, but also using language to represent reality or
yeah.
experience or feeling. It's already limiting. Instead of just feeling fully whatever it is that we are experiencing, we tend to label it with words.
Well, yeah. Jacques Lacan talked about it. I think we talked about it briefly, but like he's a French like philosopher, psychologist, whatever. He mentioned like the when we look in the mirror, right? First we have the when we see ourselves, we're like, oh, that's us. But obviously you don't see the back, right? You just see the front, right? You just see almost this 2D image, right? Then you go past it, you have with the culture and language you grew up in, right? That brings the context of your awareness, whatever, that creates that other level of the secondary level of our perception. And then there's the beyond. You talked about the beyond that. So there's a language just cuts it off. It's like we.
Yeah. Sometimes words get in the way of what's real. And what's real, without question, is what's happening right now, both externally and internally. That is absolutely real, without question. No doubt. This is happening.
This is
It's
happening.
happening right now. This happening is happening right now.
When are you gonna do your comedy special? What is it? What is the title of it again? I
The
forgot.
birth of humor.
The birth of humor. The birth of humor, comedy, or something like that.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a great. You're right. That is a great title. Um, yeah, no, there was a moment I
I'd watch
remember
her
I was
stand
in
up.
a,
I'd
thank
watch
you.
her.
Thank you. Right. So lately I've been kind of doing this pattern in my comedy where I am approaching it like I'm presenting it as as if I am not funny. And so that's kind of I've unconsciously created this
You're.
like tone or
Uh huh.
personality
Yeah.
in my comedy. So when my students are laughing, they're not laughing at the joke, really.
They're laughing at your
They're
delivery.
laughing at me. They're
Yeah.
laughing at me because I'm presenting it as if I'm not funny. And that's funny. But it's not as funny as just telling the joke because the joke is funny. So anyway, I'm working
Yeah.
on my
I didn't know I was funny until I left high school. Like once I got into
until what?
college, till I left high school and I was in college, and people were like, "You're funny." And I'm like, I never knew.
That's a great compliment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm funny.
I guess.
I'm funny.
Thanks. I'd rather be $1 million in my bank balance, but thanks.
Thanks. I'd rather have $1 million.
It's like someone saying like think about it. Actually, hold on. The whole thing with compliments or like or people's observations is like when someone saying that you are funny or you're pretty, they're really complimenting themselves and their perception. Like, hey, I recognize this quality. You know?
Yes. I like the way I feel recognizing this.
Yeah, it's like, this is my brain. This is making my brain look feel nice.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Tony is the best at this, absolute best at this, because I studied influence
his
program, his influence program, and in the influence program he talks about giving genuine compliments
Mhm.
and trying your best to avoid superficial and really looking for the deep compliments. And so he said he had to train himself to see past easy superficial compliments and really look for like the deep personal values based compliments. And he is still the best at doing this. What a great skill. What a great fucking skill to train your mind to see past superficial and look for the light that shines within all people and acknowledge that. That's great.
God, if my brain could like quickly like project the movies I see sometimes, it'd be so funny.
Maybe you should.
So I pictured as soon as I like you step aside, right? The you try to go past the superficial, right? Because you did that motion and just picture stuff. I pictured like Jim Carrey. Honestly, I pictured Jim Carrey just slapping like let's say the blonde, the pretty girl or something, but just like step aside. I'm here looking for the like a deeper compliment. Get away with your the shallowness, whatever, with your like your obvious beauty, and just smack her, and then she falls down like, huh?
That sounds seems like something Jim would do for sure.
Jim Carrey's like face into the girl. He's like, no, I'm looking for character.
Yes. Yes. Jim is a character for sure.
Yeah, Jim
Well,
is a character.
he is a character and he would say that.
He would say that, yeah, yeah. He did say that.
He did say that,
Yeah,
yes.
he's like, who let you
Many
in?
times. Who am I?
Yeah,
Very zen, very Eastern philosophy. I really like Eastern philosophy. I like all philosophy, but I tend to lean more towards Eastern philosophy. But I think they're all talking about the same shit.
same shit, different alphabet.
Exactly.
That's
Just
all it
another
is.
language. A language. Well, hey, I think this is a good time
Yeah,
to end the podcast.
yeah.
World record time. 2 hours and 23 minutes. World
Yeah.
record.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time. And the last note. So the higher up on this guy, Michael,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his last name, but he actually went to Date with Destiny. He's a cool guy, and he has a podcast of his own. And in it, he was asked, "How do you spell love?" And he said, Time. Time. It's the time you give to things. You know.
Okay. I
So
like
I was
that.
just like, so thank you for the time, and that's a wrap.
That is a wrap. Thank you so much. And I'll talk with you soon.
Like,
Peace.